Welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. Life in Michigan is more than an online magazine. We share the stories, experiences, and vibrant personalities that make the Great Lakes state truly unique. In this podcast, we bring you inspiring, heartwarming, and sometimes unexpected conversations with people who call Michigan home. From the rugged beauty of the Upper Peninsula to the bustling creativity of Kalamazoo, we'll cover the stories and define what it means to live, work, and play in Michigan. Today on the Life in Michigan podcast, we're hanging out with Mark Wilfong, the owner of Hidden King in Ann Arbor. Mark grew up here, and you can feel that connection the minute you walk into the bar. We've talked with Mark about the Hidden King history many times, but today we get to share it with you. Hey, Mark, it's so good to have you on the Life in Michigan podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Chuck?
I know you like my, I've got this microphone that I think accentuates my voice, so I sound even more radio-like.
Yeah, it's entrancing.
It is.
That's what people have said, because when I first did some interviews with Fans with Bands, the other podcast, there was a couple of folks that said, I really like listening to your voice, and it's like, it's so calming and soothing. I'm like, when I listen to myself, I think, oh my gosh, I sound like a nerd, but...
Yeah, it's intimidating to hear yourself, but you've got a sweet vinyl collection and music art behind you, so you're legit. We'll let that slide.
Awesome. Well, we know you, but folks listening probably don't know you. So maybe give a little background on who you are and especially about Hidden King.
So my name's Mark Wilfong. I born and bred in Ann Arbor and spent 14 years abroad. And as a way to protect my mother's building, which is now mine, and I'm now watching it for my daughter, and I'm teaching her, she'll watch it for whoever's next. I opened the Hidden King. I opened it as a cafe and bar. Universe spoke out loud and screamed out loud that we're actually a cocktail bar. So now we've changed our moniker, and we'll be changing the outside as soon as it warms up enough to a neighborhood bar. We're in a location in what's that?
I like that. That's nice.
You gotta roll with what you gotta roll with what fate tells you to do. Let her take you by the hand, or she will drag you by the hair. We're and for anybody that's we're in Ann Arbor, Main Street, Ann Arbor, smack dab in the middle in a 160-year-old building. I got it listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. Its first location in 1860, and under different names for the next 50 years, was as a bar. It was George F. Lutz, a Schwaben immigrant. They are mistaken for Germans often, but they speak a Celtic dialect. And it's smack on Main Street, Ann Arbor, which runs north and south. What explains our shift, and I know this is a TMI history lesson, but Main Street runs north and south. The streets running east and west lead to the University of Michigan to the east. With its 54,000 employees and even more grad students. The coffee places, the cafe style joints that survive here in Ann Arbor are on those east-west corridors.
Oh,
really?
wow. Interesting.
Yeah, and Mom, when she had her gift store here, a total of 46 years total, 10 of those around the corner on an east-west corridor, and then 34 here. Even she didn't open her gift store until 10 p.m. And even then they were cleaning and organizing. And people only turn those corners from noon on. And then once the cafes are closing, we're opening. We have a liquor license. So hopefully that speaks to the need in any business, need to pivot. If your customers aren't there, if the location and any sort of catchphrase you want, but the universe spoke out loud that we're a cocktail bar. That's what we're better at. Leaned into that, darkened the place up, and off we go. And I'm talking to you good people.
That is crazy. I had no idea that the geography of the city would impact the flow of people. But I guess it makes sense because, like you said, it's
Yeah.
a corridor going from, either coming into town or going out of town on that east-west axis. And there are people going north-south, but they're just kind of booking through. And then later in
Yeah.
the evening, it becomes, oh, let's go hang out in Main Street, which then kind of lightens up, and everybody's out to go do whatever they want to do. So, wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Behavioral economics. It's interesting. And so here we are.
That's fantastic.
So how did you get the name, the Hidden King? Like, how did Hidden King come about? I know the story, but the some of our listeners might not know the story.
So over my shoulder, I know we're relying on the audio, but over my shoulder is a stencil. And we were moving mom in 1986. In walked a historian and said, here, I took these photographs in 1983. When he got a phone call saying, we found a hidden mural, bring your camera, but hurry, they're going to cover it back up. And so mom had she had two art professors for parents. Granddad painted murals for the feds back in the 30s under the WPA project. So mom had a base knowledge in, if that thing's back there, it's going to need protecting, no holes in that wall. Let's get on running our business. Fast forward 34 years, mom was 81, had a horrible back. It was time to wrap things up. Amazon was crushing everybody. So we thought we could rent this, and we tried to hit the retail button for easy retail button and be landlords for 2 years. We went to lease 5 times with lawyers and 5 prospective tenants. And to any prospective entrepreneurs out there, or building owners, and or anybody looking to rent commercial property, you should probably understand that you can sign your letter of intent or terms of agreement or whatever you like, but it goes off to the lawyers and they start negotiating all over again. One of my assets is that in order to take a master's in commercial law in Britain, I lived abroad for 14 years. Maybe I said that, so my accent, I wish it was a cooler term, but it's called association when you code shift and your accents change. So you'll hear me do it, and I sound stupid wherever I go. But I had audited a contract law course at the U of M as a prerequisite to get into a master's in commercial law in London. I was able to read these contracts and able to ask questions like, what does this sentence mean? And mom almost got ripped off. Mom would have had to sell her house in order to build somebody else an Italian bakery in here.
Wow.
I'm too old and it's time to be honest. And we were able to navigate those pitfalls, and everybody wanted to change the deal in the lease agreement. And it was no. And the 5th prospective tenant accidentally CC'd us on an email.
Oh no.
Yeah. And if they don't know it yet. Yeah. And they were emailing back and forth to their lawyer, and they wanted in quotation marks, quote, no liability for any changes made to the building whatsoever, unquote. Make the world's dirtiest swimming pool, walk away.
Yeah.
And no. And that mom lost her mind, said, go see if the mural's there. I uncut a little 3 foot by 3 foot section, offered to come off. And what was revealed was in good shape, a foot that matched identically the photographs that mom had been given. So we slammed on the brakes. I built a protective wall and some put a window and some backlights. And the mural is of a figure called Gambrinus. He's a German good luck symbol. Even to this day, if you're a German doing anything with beer, making it or selling it, you have to have them around or it's bad juju.
Oh.
Back from when you couldn't back when you couldn't trust the water but didn't know why. And as a matter of fact, Teo has showed me a figure.
So Teo, for all of our listeners, is with Everbrow beer, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And Teo's still going, and he's so damn German. I'm not allowed to say anything, but yeah.
I get it.
Much,
I get it.
much shout out
we
to
love
Teo.
that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, he's a beer maker of Edelbrau, means, old recipes, and it's speaks to the heritage of this place. And Gambrinus is always dressed like a king. He's hidden behind the drywall. Dad joke, hidden king.
I love
The
it.
Hidden King, yeah.
I love it. The
Yeah.
Hidden King.
It's such a
I
fabulous
love it.
place because I think when we met you, it was through Teo, and
It was.
he was
It
bringing
was.
over, I think, Christopher Lasher was coming out to like I don't know if you had already had his coffee or you were getting his coffee. I can't remember exactly, but I remember going there, seeing the mural and being like, wow, this is such a cool space. And that was at that time you were just starting to get it going. And now when you go in, like we were in there this weekend, just it's fabulous. It's a wonderful atmosphere.
Well, I appreciate that, because um, that's where my shout outs aren't really shout outs. They're interwoven into the entire story, because although it annoys me immensely that I have to give Teo so much credit, he introduced me to Chris Lasher, and then Justin Dallenberg, whose baker, Ari Bates, gives us a European quality baguette made with a Polish, and we turn that into 5 separate food items. And I was oddly adjacent to Teo. I met Phil T, who is a local analytical chemist by training. He's now the head of sales for Mammoth Distilling, and the beat goes on. And so it's really a community. It's really a shared effort. Mom took care of the buildings all these years, but she also talked about the pressed steel ceiling is original. I've repaired it in several places. There's no holes. There's no paint above it. There's no holes in the stringers above it. This damn thing's original. And Mom used to talk about too many people have taken care of this building over the years for it to be disrespected. And that's why we fought so hard to not let it be ripped apart for people that wanted to turn this space into a poke bowl joint that would fail in 6 months, and it would be ripped apart again. And this is on the National Registry of Historic Places with a slam dunk, like first ballot, no problem. And it was part of the historical integrity of the building that during the pandemic, because of the 2020 census, the city had the 2020 census, X number more people equals Y number of more liquor licenses available.
Oh.
Ann Arbor, much to its credit, decided we're going to throw these up for grabs to people who have a plan, have a place, have money, and are ready to go. 10 of us put our hands up, and we were going to get one. We were going to get one. And so the place is returned to its original use from 165 years ago. What's old is new. And it's really a community collaboration from people taking care of this building, my mom taking care of this building, the city giving us a free liquor license, Teo, much to my chagrin. And it's I've got Chris's super duper on the counter. Anybody listening, we make a cold brew martini using his cold brew, which he has invented a new mousetrap, which I go out of my way to not even look at. And he hides when anybody goes to his new facility, and rightly so, because he's been warned not to patent it. You'll have to say what you're doing. So yeah. I have that stuff on the counter. Phil T, his name is on the on my menu next to Phil T's gin and tonic because it's so unique. He makes the bitter lemon tea and cane syrup tonic that he built as an analytical chemist to match with his gin, his uniquely 6-part distilled gin. And it makes this runaway bestseller for us. And then I have Tea House gluten-free almond cake, and I sell her teas. And when she was getting started 18 years ago, she was in here buying napkin rings. And my mom said, Lisa, you're buying a lot of napkin rings. What the hell are you doing? Oh, well, I'm starting a tea shop. My mom said, well, what the hell? Why didn't you tell me? and started buying them wholesale for her and just passing them on.
Oh, yeah.
And so 18 years ago, my mom was kind of taking care of Lisa. Now Lisa's kind of taking care of me. And 2.5 years later, I kind of found my feet. And that's why I know it's a dad story. I'm over caffeinated and yammering on, but they're not really shout outs. They're a lot of people, many hands, takes a so.
Well, yeah.
So for our listeners, I just wanted to clarify, because I don't know if we said it at the very beginning, but your mom was Carol Lopez, and she owned the Peaceable Kingdom. And anybody that grew up in Ann Arbor in the 70s and the 80s went to the Peaceable Kingdom. You begged your mom to take you to the Peaceable Kingdom because it had everything, right? All of this stuff. And you could just spend hours in there looking at everything. It was by far my favorite place to go when I would go in, if I could get my mom to take me in there.
Yeah. Mom was elite. And people come into this day, they've kind of stopped, but in the first year or so that I was open, and even during the pandemic and before, and people would slam on the brakes outside and go, "Oh no, I just got back to town. Peaceful Kingdom's gone."
Yeah.
But to this day, when people ask about the Peaceful Kingdom, when I explain that Mom had 2 art professors for parents, everybody go, "Oh, okay." And Grandma and Granddad had held a unique distinction that very few married couples do, and I mean like Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. They had both individual and combined works in the permanent collection of Smithsonian.
Wow.
That gave Mom an eye, and she was able to go through those mazes of gift shows and art fairs and whatnot and pick out this item and that item and this item. And so even though she sold glow-in-the-dark cockroaches and finger traps, she had that pottery that you couldn't resist. She had that artwork that you could get into trouble with. And so, so trying to pay homage to the Peaceful Kingdom. There's a good section of the wall that's Peaceful Kingdom photos, even when we were around the corner at 111 West Liberty, and to any Ann Arborites out there. I'm looking at a picture of my family rehabbing that space in 1976. And if you walk into Hyperion now, you're walking on the floor that we rehabbed. And Mom loved, this is getting really into the weeds, but Mom loved natural wood. She had natural wood floors anywhere she lived.
Yeah, I love those.
In there, she had to stain the floors black because it had been a print shop.
Oh.
And there was ink everywhere.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so you walk into Hyperion, you're walking on a print shop floor. So, hey, there we go. That story.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So, you talked about it a little bit, that, your cocktails, and, you've got Super Duper coffee, which is this amazing coffee, and you've got beer on tap, Mothfire. And you've got, it's not on tap, you can get it in can. And you've got these amazing drinks that are fueled by Mammoth Distilling. Like, your menu is so creative. How did you go about building those? Did you just was it friends and family that helped it, or how did that come about?
It's interesting because it's interesting to me because I don't like being interviewed. I don't like social media stuff. I think we've got 16 cocktails on menu now. 12 of those are batched. Phila T is responsible for the Sazerac and the gin martini and the gin and tonic. I took his dirty martini recipe, and after sucking and being terrible at it, dialed it in pretty good. I got a really good Black Manhattan because he badgered me to do a Black Manhattan. I came up with a good one on my own. I used his 2 base liquors he recommended, but if you go online and for Black Manhattans, a lot of people are going to say Angostura only. A lot of people are going to say orange bitters only. I didn't like it. And so I've got a mixture of each, not equal parts. I'm happy to share that with people if they come in. And then I started going down the rabbit hole. I owe a lot to a place in New York called Amor y Amargo, Love and Bitters. Amor y Amargo. And it's by a guy named Souther Teague, like Southerner, but Souther Teague. It's a Scottish name. But he's an influencer. You guys can find him out there, Creative Drunk. Yeah,
My
it's a good name.
favorite.
It's a good name. But Amor y Amargo in New York is a little, and hopefully this helps anybody out there who's stupid enough to try and open their own business. But he opened Amor y Amargo in 240 square feet. Go online. It's got a wonderful story. 240 square feet.
Wow.
13 stools, 1 bathroom. And it's a bitters only bar. And no juices, no shaking. I stole that because it's the easy button. But if you watch his videos, he talks a lot about being in the no business. Can you you go to some bar and, hey, I was here last Christmas and you had this peppermint infused syrup that you made a Christmas style drink with that. Can I get that, please? No, it's August. And so he runs a model that if it's not in a bottle, he can't make it. He's got 8 other bars that do all that stuff. But at that little location, they're kind of in the no business. And I went to business school, got a foundation of knowing what my prime costs should be and all of that garbage. But I think if I did anything right, it's that I don't have an amazing palate the way people like Phila T do. But what I did do is be ruthless. And unless it's a killer, it doesn't go on that menu. And so I do a whole dad shtick about high in quality quickly and unpretentiously. We don't do shaking because it's not about us. Yeah. And to the core question of the menu, I scoured the internet. I do a version of Smoking Bitters that he does, which is a mezcal, very bitter drink, but I keep it in the freezer and it's equal parts. I don't dilute it. I do their Sharpie mustache the same way that it comes in a little frozen flask. I do their Deep Umpelmo, but I changed it. I didn't like their version. And so readdressing back to the core question, I worked real hard at it. And while I may not have a great palate, unless it absolutely slapped, it didn't make the cut. And I think if you're selling cocktails or coconuts or hand grenades or whatever the hell you're selling, if it's not just a hobby, you got to be ruthless. And the universe spoke. We're not a cafe. And okay, we're going to be a cocktail bar. If we're going to be a cocktail bar, then we're going to be a really good one. Yeah. And while I don't have every drink in the menu. Can you make me a dark and stormy? No, but go see Max across the street at Regents. Can you make me a rum and coke? No, but go see Jackie at Regents Field go see Max at Ravens Club. Go see Jackie at Regents. Tell them both I sent you. But what we do have is we have a rum blend that we then fat wash with coconut. And so it retains that silkiness and a little bit of coconut. And then we take Meletti Amaro, which is a cola based. And then we freeze that, or not freeze it, but we keep it ice cold and express some lemon. So now you got the coconut and rum and cola vibe. And that one's actually ours. But to wrap up your question, came up with the menu by being ruthless, I got a spreadsheet full of, that's pretty good. But unless it slapped, it didn't go on the menu. And it's led us to a point where I can genuinely say, I'll put any of my iterations up against anybody in the world. And I may not win, but I won't look stupid. And that Irish coffee, because of Chris Lasher's single origin Costa Rican from Super Duper, that might be one of the best Irish coffees in the world. And I'm looking at you, dead rabbit. That's
Yeah.
a place in New York I can't wait to go to, but they do a mean one.
Nice.
Well, we are going to New York in July, and we're going to go to both of those places.
Yeah, because
we're going to say,
yeah,
Mark sent us from Hidden King.
right.
Please do. Please
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I lived in Belfast for 2.5 years, and I fight to I have to talk about, slow down, go, the Irish coffee. Otherwise I start talking about the fucking Irish coffee, so I do. Again, sounds stupid wherever I go.
Oh man. Yeah,
So,
yeah, the cocktails that you guys have at Hidden King are just mind blowing. I mean, every time I have something there, I'm just wow. Like you mentioned, the the Black Manhattan, fabulous. The mustache. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I appreciate that, Chuck. It's awkward for me, but I'm getting to the point where I'm allowing myself to see, yeah, it's pretty damn good. And which hopefully this is healthy, is a sign for me. Okay, well, I can keep going then, and I can keep pushing it. And it's right. You got to, if you're doing something, you got to try and do it the best you can. You got to be ruthless. If you can do better, you should do better.
Awesome.
I'll stop talking now.
No, you're good.
You're good. You talked about like the look and the feel and trying to keep it authentic to like the space and not like putting nails and but did you and keeping that identity of what the space was originally, but there is some design in there, right? Like it doesn't look like a 1936 saloon. So like how did you think about the design of the space? Like how did you come up with it? Like even your bathrooms are cool. Like I like the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, our bathrooms are stark white, to accentuate, cleanliness and have it contrast, and make sure you can see well and make sure you're correct before you go back out. But we have anybody who can't see or hasn't been here, we have 12-foot ceilings that have an original pressed steel. A lot of people call it a tin ceiling. It's actually steel. That's why they got taken down a lot during the two wars, for recycling. But I wasn't allowed by code to let the bathrooms go all the way to the 12-foot ceiling. And so what I did was I stole a technique that kind of rolls into having lived abroad. I'm not inventing anything. I'm cobbling together things I've seen around the world. During the Victorian era, the Brits put in skylights everywhere. They called them roof lanterns. To them, it was just efficient. Now with modern LED panels, people are putting in fake roof lanterns. So if you go into my bathrooms, there's fake stained glass, which is acrylic, and it looks like a skylight. And because I make the dad joke that I run on a very sophisticated business model that not a lot of people can understand, which is if women want to pee somewhere, they'll come back. And if women come back, no, I built those for my wife. My mother-in-law immediately said, "Well, one of these is mine," and it's kind of a standout for us. And I take great pride when somebody says you have the nicest bathrooms in Ann Arbor.
You do.
Damn, bless you.
You do.
Chuck, can I have a recording of that, please?
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
So, but as I look around, the Scandinavians have a word called hygge, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Hygge.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody listening, especially those in the cold climates, know this feeling. The Scandinavians all fight over who owns that particular word. And what it is kind of coziness together. Mm-hmm. Candles, good music, good friends, good drinks, and just coziness together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Modern LED tea lights serve that well. There's a design theory that says you should have red in your space, hotel rooms, conference centers, stuff like that. Well, so I've been hitting thrift stores pretty hard, and I've got lots of red candle holders, and some of those go on each table. We also have games on each table. Someone brought us a Mancala set. People have bought us additional ones.
Nice.
We have Go, we have backgammon, we have poker chips, and cribbage. The youngins are playing cribbage.
Oh,
When I
wow.
when I grew up, cribbage was the game the old people were playing. You got hit if you bothered them. But and then we've got little notebooks on each table, which we put there so people could keep track. They kept asking for pieces of paper, and they wanted to keep score for card games.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a little notepad on each table, and go over to Old National, and they give us pens, and people are now they're leaving notes in there.
Yeah, that's right. I was gonna say I love that because we went in this weekend. There was a notepad there, and I started flipping through it. And there's like drawings, there's sketches, there's obviously some people keeping score. There's notes, there's like little poems and stuff. I'm like, this is fantastic. I love this.
And that's from the pivot, man. It's what the universe told you, what fate told you, and there's I've got one set aside that somebody wrote a 5-page, very sad letter to a woman that he had done wrong.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's good. And but then also we have lining one. Our space is 70 by 17, one long rectangle, broken up by bathrooms set about 2/3 back. Along one wall, we have a series of church pews. Then we have bent wood chairs that were given to me. What a luck! The tables were given to me, back to the community vibe, and then the Victorians and before used to use picture hanging rails, so they wouldn't. Back when plaster walls were a real serious problem, they put a rail and then hung their paintings and decorations from wires, and that's what I've done. And ironically, because I don't want to mess with a bunch of these walls, are horsehair plaster.
Wow.
I don't want to go repairing them.
Yeah.
And it allows me to move them around. And so we have I have one picture that's connected to the University of Michigan, and it's a little teeny 3x5 that somebody took from a disposable camera of Charles Woodson, who a very young man had come back to Ann Arbor with the Heisman Trophy and was hanging out of a sunroof and driving around town. And somebody snapped the picture as he went past. And sure, that's our connection to the U of M, and that's it. We're the town of town and gown, and so yeah, no TVs. We're the perfect. Sorry, we hope to be the perfect place for locals to bring visitors, somewhere with a sense of history and no TVs.
Yeah.
And what the Hidden King has evolved into, and if we're to give a business school presentation, modern life has us all yearning or struggling, whether known or not, to really connect with people.
Yeah.
And what we do is provide an atmosphere where it's not necessarily for mingling, it's more for reconnecting. And by high-end quality, quickly, unpretentiously, utilizing our competitive advantage of having owned the building in the family with debt on it, but nothing like other bars around here, we can run a counter style service. You walk in and we're going to say, we're going to order at the counter, we're going to deliver to you, but then we're going to leave you alone like a pub. You want anything else, come back up. And that's very different than the table flipping model.
Yeah.
And that results in people lingering. And from a business model, that allows us to run fewer staff. And so instead of 3 people can be in here and run on a busy night, instead of most places needing 6. If it's a rainy Thursday, I don't cut people. I take that hit. And they're averaging $24 an hour. If I can get to a fourth night, we're only open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If we can get to a fourth night, that's what MIT's living wage calculator says is a living wage here in Ann Arbor.
Nice.
It may not be the home runs that you hear people earning at the chop house, waiting tables, but we hit a hell of a lot of doubles, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
So
And like you're saying, every time I've been in there, I always feel that I don't even know how to pronounce the word correctly, but the coziness, the
Huge.
yeah,
Eddie
yeah. I just definitely feel that. I just from the moment I've ever been in there, but then just going with friends, hanging out. Yeah, we were just there this weekend, hadn't been in a while, and I immediately was like, man, we're gonna come here more because it just every time we're there, just and those, like you said, those little note cards, the not the note cards, but the little booklets. Seriously, there's like so many stories that got to be in there. I just want to explore all of them.
And I appreciate that. And hopefully Brenda will help you on this. If this is on video, put a little picture of you in your Nutcracker suit that you were in your
That was pretty funny. I asked him, do you want to change out of this before he's like, no, we're in for the hall here. So we spent the whole day in the Nutcracker outfit. I was
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things you didn't talk about, which I was hoping you were going to bring up, was the fairy doors.
Oh yeah.
Fairy
door. That story about your fairy door. I mean, it's just a delight, and I hope you'll share it with our listeners.
The fairy doors are. It's one of the distractions. I don't like being the center of attention in here, but I understand what goodwill is. I understand how it's depreciated on financial documents, and people love the dad shtick in here of, oh yeah, I used to ride my big wheel around that block in the 70s. The fairy door is one of my true joys because the long story is my mom was running her business in this location. About 25 years ago, in walked a local art teacher. Hey, Carol, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do the other. And she said, whatever, Jonathan, I'm busy, and handed him a key. And for the next 2 weeks, he came in here at night and worked at night. And then one day, one of my mom's relatives, they were, walking around here, and she went, Carol? And he had just let them find it. There's a door outside with a little plexiglass window you can look in. And then there's windows on the inside of the business that you can look in. He had built dollhouse reproductions of her actual Victorian era display cases. And as people would leave homages to the fairy doors, to the fairies on the outside little step of the door, they would be collected and they would make their way in. Any money went to food gatherers and still does to this day. And items that were left in homage would make it in. And he built little shelves to it, and there were loads of pennies in there. And there was one of the plumbers and pipe fitters for the annual union got torqued up and left his union badge there, and that made it in. There was an entire display case full of kids' teeth. And kids would come in. My mom did a whole shtick with them. They'd come in and they would leave their teeth in a little bag. And okay, you come back in a few days, okay? And they would come back in a few days with their parents. And mysteriously, the fairies had left them a little box of presents that were suspiciously close to what the kid had actually asked for. And it was a whole thing. And he even did one thing, and I've got pictures of it. I need to put it on social media. He sent them to me the other day. There was a fairy troupe. There was a daisy troupe. The group before the Girl Scouts.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So these 6 and 7, whatever they are, year old girls.
Brownies.
There's brownies.
Yeah.
And there's daisies, which are like they roll around and dress up and act like they're organized. And they were on a fairy door tour, and This door was the last stop. And there's a long piece of molding underneath the outside ferry door. And when those girls, 17 of them or whatever it was, arrived at this location, they were greeted by a line of little small plastic potted daisies.
Oh.
And each of their name was written on each one.
Oh.
They
Wow.
lost their mind. It was great. And to this day, I say, that's Ann Arbor, an old hippie art teacher just having fun.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
people
yeah.
love it. And I got a camera watching it from through a window on the other side, because every now and then there's a vandalism. And I got a camera watching, and I do a dad shtick about all day long. It's kids going, my turn, my turn. And all night long, it's, dude, there's something in there. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, and that's Ann Arbor.
It is.
Old hippie art teacher.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, that is true. Like, I have a question in here that was like, you know, if somebody hasn't been in yet, what do you think, what do you hope they'll walk away with after they visit? And what I just came to me, it's like, that's Ann Arbor right there. Like, you've nailed it. Like, you go in, you've got some nice music playing, and it's lovely, but it's not overwhelming. Like, we were at another restaurant, I won't say, but it was so loud you couldn't talk.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, it's lovely music. It's a nice, like, you know, like, it's there. You're comfortable, you're cozy, you're all those things, but it's so Ann Arbor. When you look around, the pictures are like, I see Jim Toy on your back wall right here. Like, it's totally Ann Arbor. Like, everybody it is. That's like, I think that's the answer to the question. I mean, did I get it wrong?
No, it brings me joy. It's been pretty rough. Now that we're cooking, my wife often says, you know, look what you've done. I was like, look what we've done, because there were days in here when I took in $3 all day.
Oh.
And my mom died at 4:23 in the morning, and I was here at 8 a.m. at 51 years old, carrying buckets of dirt out of the basement in the August heat. And I think through pigheadedness is a lot of how this got done. But it was through my wife and through my daughter being understanding, and through my mom being understanding. She said, I hope I get to live to see it open. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Sure as shit, she died. Didn't get to see it open, but I think that's a lot of what's driving me through, and focusing upon not it being, ooh, look at Mark's place and Mark here, and I did this and I did that. It's more of a community place, and I'm gathering together elements of our community. And I'm looking at a picture of Iggy Pop before he was Iggy Pop. I'm looking at horses going down Main Street. I'm looking at I tried to find city hall workers, and the best one I could find is when they won in the 1970s. A group of them won the lottery, and they're all. I'm looking at one of the midget submarines, a picture of one of the midget submarines that attacked Pearl Harbor, 1943. They put it on a truck in California, drove it around the country for war bonds, and it's turning onto Main Street. And I'm looking at a picture right now of Vault of Midnight, Curtis from Vault of Midnight. When he was out of a house, he and the rest of them were out of a house over on Ashley Street, and now they're in multiple cities.
Yeah.
I'm gathering things together, and I think I think I'm doing a pretty good job, and I will keep striving to do a better job of collecting the little things that make Ann Arbor cool. Not Rivians and $1,200 handbags, but people that wanted to come to a place where there's plenty of people in Ann Arbor that are like, look at me, I'm so funky, but there's way more people. They're like, you know what, I want to live somewhere where there's a bit of culture and people are chill, but it's not pretentious. And hopefully that's what we're doing here.
Yes.
I'm trying to control myself. I got history stories and whatnot, but Ann Arbor punches above its weight. I can't resist this one. with Jim Toy and all of that, there's just stories about like the Hash Bash was founded, and members of the Hash Bash were members of the White Panther Party. And Huey Newton was asked by a journalist, "What can white people do?" He's one of the founders of the Black Panthers. What can white people do? Found the White Panthers, and a couple of hippies in Ann Arbor walked their talk and found the White Panthers. Now there were too many guns involved, but I'm looking at a picture of a cop outside of a now empty building that's still on Main Street, and it's down by the railroad tracks as you head out towards the stadium. But there's a cop standing in front of that building in 1968 because a member of the White Panther Party blew up a not very secret CIA recruiting office there.
Oh.
And Pun Plamadon, he admitted that years later, he's gone now, but he went hiding in Morocco or Algeria, sorry, with members of the Weather Underground that were also blowing up stuff on the University of Michigan campus. And he came back, was on his way up north to hide up north, got caught littering in front of a cop, and he was in jail, and his compatriot was put in. People think that his compatriot was famous for founding the Hash Bash, and he wasn't. It was for that, or he got grabbed, that the feds grabbed him for 2 joints, and that was the excuse why they'd grabbed him, but he was a member of the White Panther Party, and that's why they grabbed him. And a few years later, the Supreme Court agreed 8-0 that the Nixon administration had violated their Fourth Amendment right to privacy, and was the Keith case. Yeah. And it established the Fourth Amendment. It was the precedent for the Fourth Amendment right to privacy. And it was only because some hippies in Ann Arbor walked their talk. And we have an old city council person that comes in here, and she was on the city council in 1976. 3 years before Harvey Milk, she stood next to Kathy Kamenchenko, who was the first openly gay elected public official in American history. And Colleen stood next to her, and Colleen comes in here and puts up a little sign, "Tell me your story," and people come in and just talk to her. And Colleen had a red file on her. The Nixon administration were keeping a red file on her.
Oh, wow.
And this was before Watergate, and it established that case of the White Panthers established the Fourth Amendment right to privacy, but it also caused a whole bunch of journalists to go, "What else is the Nixon administration doing?" And so Ann Arbor punches above its weight in history, and I'm just gathering it together. Sorry for the dad story.
No, I love it.
That's the best part about going there is hear you and getting a history lesson or a great story, because I love it.
I squirm telling it, but those stories are pretty cool, and Ann Arbor's got some cool stuff going on. We're pretty neat. Anyway, I'll stop talking.
We're almost at time. We're getting close because we like to keep our podcast to about an hour. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you were hoping that maybe we would spend some time talking about before we wrap it up?
No. My biggest goal is I didn't want this to turn into the Mark conversation, because so many people have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
And it's not a shout out, it's interwoven. It's Chris's Coffee, the cold brew martini, which is really good, is like the pre-gamer, and the Irish coffee, which again, I'll put up against anybody. There's Philly tea. It just goes on and on. And maybe you guys could put a list in the,
for sure.
Yeah. Of all those, Amori Amargo in New York. Actually, I'm gonna break my arm to pat myself on the back. But I've got a framed picture of Amori Amargo on the wall, and I use it as an educator in terms of, hey, this is where a lot of our drinks come from, so forth and so on. No juices, no shaking. Shout out to them. Follow the QR code to their Instagram account. Anyway, cool.
We'll include in the show notes. I'll try to gather all of them, but you've hit on a lot of stuff. And if I can find links to, things you've referenced, I'll put them in the show notes so people can read more if they want.
Well, yeah. Can I finish that one story?
Yeah.
And we don't have a website, and we're very limited on our Instagram. And a lot of that stemmed from, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never run a bar before. I'd never run a cafe before. So I didn't really want to, everybody's taking pictures of their products. I didn't want to be everybody. And so part of that is cautious. I don't know what I'm doing. And part of it has now turned into a marketing thing where Hidden King, we're a bit hidden. Friday and Saturday nights, knock on wood, there's no seats. So it's working. But a friend of Souther, who is an artist and spent 28 years in New York, he's an artist. He's moved back to town with his wife, Colleen. And this guy comes into the bar, and it's John, this guy. And he looks up and he goes, Maury and Margot, that's my friend Souther. Why is he on your wall? And we started talking, and I tried to kill him with drinks, as is the custom. And he said to me, why didn't you reach out to Souther? And I said, because I wanted it to happen like this. I wanted it to happen organically. And I didn't want to be another person go, look at me. And that to have a friend of his find me, they started texting right there at the bar. And it led to validation. And that's where if people come here, the way you guys speak, and they go away and tell their friends to give us review, and we don't have a Google review on the counter asking, and it just happens organically, then that's all I could ask for, because we're a small place with a small carrying capacity. And when we've got no seats on a Friday and Saturday night, that's all the validation I need.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So good.
Or you can come in early like we did before you were open. Just bust in. Hey, we're here.
You guys can always bust in.
Oh man, yeah. So it was like 4:30 in the afternoon, and the door was open, so we just walked in, and you were so kind. You're like, well, we're still getting set up, but you guys are in the secret special club. You can come on in. So it's like, oh.
That and you were pretty intimidating in your nutcracker. So how could I say it now?
Yeah, there's some lunatic here.
I'm gonna keep beating that one. Well, thank you guys for enduring my.
Oh no, thank you.
Thank
you so much. We got one last question for you. Do you want to ask, Brenda?
No, you do it.
Okay, so it is. What is your perfect day in Michigan? So where would you go? What would you do? And what beverage would you end it with?
A series of undisclosed lakes, smallmouth fishing in early summer, depending on the wind and the water. And if I was in the Alpena side, probably an Austin Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
But more likely, I'd be on the other side, and it'd have to be something from Shorts.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Fantastic. Well, Mark, thank you again so much for being on the Life in Michigan podcast.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to catch every episode of Life in Michigan. Help us spread the word by rating the show, sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your family, your mail carrier. Share it with everybody, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay connected by following us on our website and social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, take care and have a fantabulous day in Michigan.